Hi everyone, we are back for more, and we've played for 4 hours and 33 minutes. Yes, I wish to load this data as always. Look at that, we're starting off with a yawn. That is wonderful. I'm going to open my window, give me some more breath to deal with. Stretch. Hello there, cutie pie. No, it didn't.
それとも捨てた
Yeah.
とにかく落ちてた落ちてたの
So this, I'm quite confused. This is a delusion, right? But we never got the sign that it was a delusion. Like you normally get like the flash, but that didn't happen this time. You bitch. When the hell did she investigate my room on the day we first met? When I hurt my foot and she helped me up to my room? When she'd seen my figure of Seratan and her face had been shining and she'd called it cute?
この杭外国製のすごく珍しい杭なのよそれとニュージェネ第3の事件で使われた杭と同じなの
Yeah, I know.
同じよね
Yeah.
同じなのは間違いない
Yep.
同じよ
Yep.
遺体を壁に貼り付けにした杭と
Yeah.
同じ
Yep. I was positive of it. She suspected me of being the new gen perpetrator. She'd convinced herself I was a murderer. Did she think she was some kind of detective? The high school the high school detective, Kusunoki Yua, or something like that? Go die. I mean it. You deserve to die. It might have worked in an anime or a game. But Yua's reasoning was fatally mistaken. I knew the killer. I'd seen her with my own eyes. That demon. She was a girl whose name I didn't know, but she had worn the Sume uniform. The culprit was someone very near to me.
だから
Yua lowered her head and let out a small breath. Her grip on my wrist weakened, and at last she released me.
それ以上でもそれ以下でもないですただあなたが知ってるかどうかを確かめたかっただけ本当はまだ言うつもりじゃなかったですし
What the hell is yet supposed to mean here?
それじゃあもう一つ確認させてください
Alright, this must be the end of the moso we're having.
あなたには予知能力がありますか
What?
は
I unthinkingly let my mouth fall open. Same here. Precognitive. Precognitive? Alright. Sorry, man. I'm Belgian. Don't blame me. Precognitive powers. What the heck was that? What did it have to do with the incident? Is that like you know something's going to happen before it happens? As I racked my brain, Yua plunged a hand into her bag and pulled up a piece of paper with a full-color image printed on it.
予知
Oh
能
boy.
力があるって思わなきゃ納得できないような画像データあなたが持っていたから
Oh yes, so I did get it right. I know that's the picture. The Guro picture Shogun had sent me. Why did Yua have it? What the hell is that down there? I can't really see. That looks like some kind of mage wearing a hat. But I guess it's just... You know, I really can't see. I have to go close to my... Oh no, that's me running. Yeah, you can actually see me running here. Yeah. If I look really from up ahead and that changes the color my screen has, I can see green, blue, purplish hair here, a face right over here, and a jacket from Suime.
これ
あなたはどうしてニュージェネ第3の事件の再現画像を持っているんですか
I don't know.
しかもこの画像が流出したのは事件の前日ですあなたの使った PC に キャッシュが残ってました。
違う。
She even checked the cash. I got this image from a guy called Shogun, who I chatted with for the first time and that day. I didn't make it myself. The fact that I downloaded it should still be recorded in my browser's history. Of course, I'd show that to you. But hold on. How had Yua gotten her hands on the image in the first place? How had she known it was left in my computer's cache? The one time she came into my room, she couldn't have possibly had any time to check out my PC. Yes, she did actually. She would have had time because you had a delusion.
まさか君が将軍か。
I don't think so, but I guess. She was trying to set me up. Yua had planned it all out, and she too was one of the new gen criminals. And she intended to use me as a scapegoat to mislead the police investigation.
助けて。
This was too much for me. See, this is such a real delusion. You don't know if it's a delusion or reality. Why me? Because I was gross? Because I didn't have any friends? Yua said nothing, only shook her head a little.
その画像はアットカフェルーム37の PC から拾ったんです。あなたの PC もできれば調べたかったんですけど、その機会はさすがにありませんでした。
Room 37, the room I always used. The bitch totally thought she was some kind of detective. Yua looked at me with only a faint trace of apology in her face. I felt that she'd returned to the usual Yua for a moment. Still wearing that expression, she began fishing around inside the bag again. This time, she brought out a printout and pushed it at me. Oh boy. I had a bad feeling about this. My reason warned me that it'd be better not to look. It's going to be an image of me getting pwned, or it's going to be an image of me running away at the crime scene, or it's going to be a new case. But I had no choice to look. I'd be falsely accused if I didn't find some way to resist.
それがあなたのすべてです。
My everything? Could she have stolen all my personal information? Was you a hacker? Heart pounding, I unfolded the printout. Heart pounding, I unfolded the printout. Contrary to my expectations, though, rather than my personal information, what was printed there looked like the backlog of an online chat.
Huh.
Oh, probably Shogun, I guess? Or Nightheart and Shogun? Yeah, participants Nightheart and Shogun. Oh, yes, I remember this.
そのログ変ですよね。
え？
What was so strange about it? It was a normal log. I certainly remembered having this kind of conversation with Shogun.
ナイトハルトと将軍の発言時間が全然噛み合ってないんです。
Alright, we couldn't see this, but since it's a log, it would understand, it would make sense, rather, that timestamps would be on there. And if you look at this equation has scaled towards possibilities, and he's talking to us on Monday at 8 o'clock, and we're talking to him on Sunday, the day before, right, at 3:15. So that means, whatever, just believe me, this must have to do with time travel or something, according to this game's, story, probably. Because, I mean, he's talking to us from in the future.
Oh.
God damn it! Someone just has to message me. Whenever I don't go, I never get messaged. Never, ever, never get a message. Never, ever. And then when I start recording, they all feel like they have to talk to me. Why is that? Fuck off. I'm not even gonna look. What was this? Why had it ended up like this?
そこにあるナイトハルトは西条区。発言時間は9月28日の午前3時だ。そして翌日、あなたはアットカフェに行ってます。西条くんがアットカフェに行くのは学校帰りと決まってる。そして学校に行くのは週に 2.5 回。あなたのクラスメイトから聞いたんですけど、先週あなたが学校に来た日は月曜日、水曜日、木曜日。先週の月曜日は9月29日。将軍の発言時間と同じ日です。
What was she saying?
ルーム37の PC のチャットログを調べさせてもらいました。そこから分かったことは、
You have briefly cut herself off. Then, finally catching my gaze straight on, she gave voice to the relentless truth. Basically, it's me in the future sending those images.
あなた一人の自作自演。
Huh. I was right.
将
Don't
軍、
look at me. Shogun is none other than... Don't look at me.
あなた自身。
Oh, man.
何も見たくない。何も聞きたくない。時間は一定じゃない。記憶には矛盾がある。視界にはエラーがある。地球は回ってない。これはきっとゲームなんだ。
I plugged in my PC while stuffing my face with pieces of fish sausage.
僕じゃない。
Mindor's X. At last, my Seroton wallpaper appeared on the monitor.
僕がいるべき世界は。
I instantly started up Ensu without a second's hesitation.
ここじゃないんだ。
Chapter 2. Beep, beep, please hurry up and board the bus for the field trip. Nishijo Takumi lies sprawled on the tatami-covered floor with a colored pencil in his hand. It was yellow. The one he held several minutes before was red. He reclined on his sketchbook, almost covering it with his body, as he ran the pencil across it lightly. Takumi loved to draw. He loved it so much that even during school, he always doodled in the margins of his notebooks. That's what I did. The TV, which had been turned on even though no one was really watching it, was currently playing the morning news. To Takumi, who was still only in the 4th grade, the news was nothing but boring stuff, so he didn't look at the screen. Beep beep, 300 yen for candy. He was drawing a yellow bus. He pretended he was the bus driver. The bus is full, so we're going to take off. Beep. He brought imaginary scenes into reality through his drawings. He worked so energetically that there were many times when his lines went off the surface of his sketchbook onto the tatami. Tatami are those large mats. You can just flip them around, actually. Each time, Nanami, who was reading manga nearby, became angry and grumbled, "Geez, you mustn't get it dirty," even though she was just his little sister. Unconcerned, Takumi continued immersing himself in his drawing. But when he reached the stage of drawing people in the windows of the bus, Takumi's hand had stopped.
Huh.
God damn it. And he deliberately tore apart the sketchbook. The day before the fall field trip. Takami's parents had suddenly told him, "You can't go on the field trip." He was looking forward to it this whole time. He was overexcited since the morning, so much that his heart pounded as he wondered how soon it would be tomorrow. He simply couldn't bring himself to accept how his parents had callously sentenced him. Weeping, he insisted he would go no matter what, but it was futile. Regardless of what he said to them, his parents wouldn't listen, telling him only, "You can't," and we're only looking out for your best interests," over and over. Burrowing into his bed, Takami trembled with such frustration that, as if he were about to rip the mattress into shreds, or 2 shreds rather, he loathed his parents from the bottom of his heart. At the time, a field trip had been a tremendous event for Takami. One sufficient to induce this level of passion in him. Though everyone else in the class could go, he alone could not. From Takami's point of view, it was all too unreasonable. Takami's world was a lonely one. Their world was full of fun and passion. He almost had the sense that he was the only one to have been cut off from the rest of that world. He couldn't forgive his teacher, his classmates, everyone who had left him behind. Nor could he forgive his parents for their abrupt and unfair sentence. This began to transform into hatred towards his parents and classmates. Biting his lip hard enough to make it bleed, he continually repeated curse-like words to himself. "None of you should be able to go." Next morning, the telephone was ringing off hook since early in the morning. Each time his mother answered the phone, her responses seemed more and more unsettled. In the end, Takami couldn't even get a bit of sleep. It was a little past 9. Nanami sat on a cushion in a ladylike manner, reading manga. The day before, she told Takami Nana's going to stay home from school too and be with her bro. And now she was there with him, as if it were perfectly natural. That enough is alone to scare me. Something's gonna pop out of me, isn't there? Their father had already gone to work and was nowhere to be seen. Their mother was so busy answering the phone that she didn't have time to make breakfast. I hope that was a bug, because otherwise it managed to scare the fuck out of me. There was no need to go to school today. Still sulking, Takumi opened his sketchbook and began drawing to clear away his gloom. But his irritation wouldn't go away. And right when he tore up and flung his sketchbook away in annoyance, Nanami raised her voice in confusion. Takumi thought she was talking about the drawing he'd been working on, but her eyes were glued on to the television. Oh boy, that's just great. Everyone's gonna have died. Nanami yelled for their mother, who was even now responding to another phone call. Listening from beside her, Takumi absent-mindedly followed his sister's gaze to the TV screen. This is gonna be great. The screen showed the spectacle of a fallen highway overpass. Only an area about 50 meters in size had collapsed. Unfortunately, a single bus that had happened to be passing over that one spot became caught up in it and lay toppled over sideways beneath the overpass. It was indeed the bus that Takumi was supposed to have ridden, the bus all his classmates had been riding. A single glance was enough for him to imagine most of what had happened. His classmates were reflected on the screen. One was crying, one had his forehead covered in blood, one was being laid on a stretcher and carried off into an ambulance. A pale-faced reporter described the circumstances of the accident, but Takumi didn't really understand what he was saying. His mother stood shocked still at the entrance to the room. Face pale, still gripping the phone.
遠足のバスが高速道路で事故に遭っちゃったんだって。
What the hell? An ESP investigation TV program he had seen long ago was carved into Takami's memory. The precog who had appeared on that program had startled the contemporary world with his display of overwhelming supernatural abilities. In one test, 12 items were placed in boxes labeled from 1 to 12, and the precog was to sit in a different room with cards that had the items' names on them, and predict which boxes they would go in. Only afterward would some staff members in a different room actually place the items in the boxes. When they tallied up the overlap between what was predicted and the box's actual contents, the precog's 90% success rate made the show's hosts go wild. As he watched, Takami played along by making predictions at the same time as the precog, with the result that he got every single one right, but of course he didn't tell anyone about it. That was why now, too, he saw the accident on TV and thought to himself that his foresight had been correct.
クラスの半数以上の子が怪我したらしくて。はあ、なんてこと。
Takami's mother began to embrace him, but he slipped out of her arm and crawled to another corner of the room.
でも本当に良かったわ。
His mother murmured emptily, her gaze swimming through the air.
今日タキちゃんを休ませておいて本当に良かった。
Takami felt like vomiting. Everything was rotten, he thought. So what if he had precognitive powers? If it took a mere instant for his heart to freeze? For some time afterward, Takami stopped speaking. He was literally mute. He wouldn't let out a single word in response to anyone. His becoming mute worried his parents, who started becoming more and more overprotective. As they thus started to seem stupider and stupider to him, Takami ended up deliberately playing the role of a wordless boy. It was his way of getting back at them, he thought. Noticing that he had stopped speaking, Takami's mother took him to a psychiatric ward of a general hospital. He was diagnosed with PTSD. Since he didn't actually have PTSD, of course, he didn't take a single dose of the medicine they gave him. He only pretended to take it. Takami's parents didn't catch on to the fact that he was acting, and even when he saw them fretting about it and racking their heads over him, he didn't feel the least bit apologetic. So we're learning a bit about what's going on with our good friend. Everything feels like a lie. The world is full of fiction. Furthermore, it seemed like everyone's ill will was directed at me.
いつもあなたが使っているチャットルームへログインして自分で調べてみてください。私の言っていることが間違っていないってわかるはずです。それと私が言ったことは全部本心です。これだけは信じて。
We didn't have a delusion. If I would have had a delusion, it would only be the red one. The red one would have been a delusion. The green one wasn't. There can be another, unless I end up snapping out of it right now, but I don't see that happening because we're in chapter 2. After laying out her incomprehensible opinion, you attacked on that one last part and vanished from before me. Like hell I could believe her. You've got some nerve to say believe me after deceiving me. No matter what, I didn't want to acknowledge my everything which you had trusted at me. I wanted to think that her calling me Shogun had merely been idle words or rambling. But when I looked into that chat's backlog, I saw that she wasn't wrong about the timestamps not matching.
僕は無遊病なの？
Doubt it. I hadn't been sleeping when Shogun posted his parts of the chat. It was an incontrovertible fact that I'd gone to Ad Cafe at the time, but I hadn't fallen asleep, so I couldn't be a sleepwalker. Then what did it mean that I don't have any memory of posting at Shogun? Do you have a double personality? Alternatively, someone other than myself could control my body. Ridiculous. To prevent myself from getting even more stressed, I escaped from reality to another fictional world, Ensu. Even everything about Ensu was a lie, because when you get down to it, it was a world in a game. But in Basilat, I could become Nightheart, an existence practically on the same level as God. I could accept this kind of lie, this kind of fabrication. I wanted to stay here, I thought. What was wrong with that? Or maybe Ensu itself was the real thing, and this world was fake, perhaps a game, for instance. I've thought that before. What if the world is just one big game, and we are just pawns who you can vote on? Well, whatever. We're going to stop it here, and I'll see you later. So thanks for watching.